So it's logic, let's say, that we will now follow with industrial Ethernet cable assemblies for each application. And for that, I will welcome Jonas. So a special thank for you also, because you learned last night that you are on stage this morning. So perfect. Thank you for your flexibility.
Not a problem.
Vitali, you could prepare a little bit more. Also, thank you for you. Looking forward to your insights. Thanks.
Great, thanks.
Hello together. Today I and my colleague Vitali Philippi will tell you something about industrial cable in different applications, and which kind of different cable assemblies HARTING is able to create. One moment, I will change the slide. So the topic is industrial Ethernet cable assemblies for each application. If we start and take a look here, for example, we see a classic automation hall. We have different applications, conditions, and environments. And for each of this environment, for example, a special war cable is needed. So let's take a little bit a few details regarding different war cables. If we take a look into the switch cabinet, so we have a not flexible, not movement area. We are in an IP20 area, and the war cables here used are designed for fixed installations. There is some flexibility, but there are no special requirements regarding movement, for example, in a drag chain. So therefore, we have our different Profinet cables for the Cat5 transmission, but we also have Cat6a cables, 8-pole Cat6a cables for higher data transmission. Also, we are able to sell ready-made cable assemblies, which all of the used standard interfaces for this kind of applications. Here, for example, we are talking in an IP20 area in a switch cabinet about RG45s, IX Industrial, or also single pair Ethernet is also in our scope. We also have the possibilities to create the interface to the IP65-67 area if we want to go with our cable assemblies from the switch cabinet in the field. Here, for example, a typical application, if we want to have a drag chain and the cables are forced into a guided movement. So here we have a lot of millions of bending cycles, and therefore also the cable needs to be specially designed. Here, for example, the Profinet Type C with a trailing variant is suitable to fulfill all of these requirements. Here we have a guided force on the cables or bending, and also the cable assemblies are ready-made to buy with standard connectors for this kind of applications, like the M12 decoded for 4-pole Ethernet transmission, or the X-coded cable assemblies for Cat6a transmission performance, for example, for camera signal or something similar. The same interface is also available, so in the M12 connector with the single pair Ethernet interface. So we have everything in our scope. If we take a further look to other environments, for example, on a robot, here we don't have a guided mechanical force on the cable assemblies. We have more or less torsional stress or reverse bending stress on the cable assemblies. So this is much more harder, and therefore also the cables need to be chosen correctly. Here, for example, the optical solution is with the same connectors but with different cable, the Profinet Type R cable. Also available as Cat5 variant, and then there are also special variants for higher data transmission in the Cat6a area. So, and if we then take a look on the overall picture, you see we can provide solutions for the complete transition line, so from the switch cabinet without move it to the drag chain, and then also cable assemblies for torsional stress. So, Vitali, I would hand over to you. Maybe you can tell us something more about the war cables itself.
Perfect. Thanks, Jonas. So pretty nice to see the wide range of our portfolio next to connectors, plug-and-play solutions. We're also offering the raw cables. As Jonas mentioned, we have different kind of requirements, right? And the HARTING Profinet cables are specially designed for different, or to meet the requirements of different applications. We have several movements behaving. We have fixed installations ready here. And what does it mean in detail? So we have the types B, C, and R for movements, for flexible use. And we have the type A for fixed installation. Looking into the type B, so it's a flexible cord, let's say. We have 7 stranded wires in a conductor. And it's usable for flexible cords or patch cables within control cabinets, for example. So when we look into the application, normally it's hanging undefined in the control cabinet, right? So there's no much mechanical stress on that. Whereas the type C, we have the same 7 stranded wires in the conductor, usable for flexible cords, but specially designed for drag chain applications, and where multiply banding are occurring. What does it mean? So we have the trailing, which is normally that kind of movement, right? And our cable withstands trailing cycles of 5 million, which is pretty nice. The last but not least type for movements is the type R, the robotic, which Jonas also mentioned in the application. So that's a robust but highly flexible design where 19-wire stranded conductors allows use in, let's say, normal industrial applications with highly mechanical stress on torsional or repeated bending. We have here PVC, PUR cable jackets available, which are flame retardant, halogen-free, and the normal movement in that application, there are 3 dimensions. We have first the torsion, withstands 5 million cycles. We have the trailing, like the drag chain, 5 million cycles. And the final one, it's the repeat bending, or the reverse bending, tick-tock, we so-called, in this direction. And it withstands 1 million cycle. So these types are for movement, and as I said, we have also the one for the best choice for fixed, it's the type A. And it's out of solid wires in the conductors, and normally you don't have any mechanical stress, and it's laying fixed in some cable trays, for example, in buildings. So to sum it up, we have covered all types for our customers, which requesting different kind of behaving of raw cables for their specific applications. And we are making sure that we are able to support you with all these wide ranges concerning the Profinet. So I believe we will have some further information from Jonas, and I would like to give over back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vitali. So in the last application, the main focus was more or less on the raw cable itself, but now take a closer look to the interface itself. So if we look on this turning machine, we have different, here also different kind of possibilities for your interface. If we're looking to the HMI here, it's a similar condition than a switch cabinet. Normally you use an IP20 connector, which is protected in this tube against the environment from the industrial hall. So here you can use for connection to your HMI the standard well-known RG45, but it's also possible for your data transmission to switch to newer interfaces like the HARTING iX Industrial. So it's a similar interface than the RG45, but much more smaller, especially on the PCB side. So there are space savings possible up to 70% on the PCB. And for sure, the data transmission is the same than for an RG45. So you can transmit Cat6a up to 10 gigabits. But also newer technologies, and not only new mating phases, newer technologies like single pair Ethernet are also possible here in the IP20 area. But you don't have only the IP20 area, you have also different cabinets in the field where maybe IP65, 67 are needed. And if you don't want to go with your complete cable assembly into this separate box or switch cabinet, you also have the possibility to create a plug-able interface and have a connection only for this switch cabinet. Here, our IP65, 67 solutions are possible. If we are thinking a little bit outside of the box, for example, you can use the HARN1A data with the data module, but for sure you also can choose the well-known mating phases like the RG45 or the IX, which was presented before, in a protected housing. So this means it's the push-pull variant 14, well-known from the automotive industry, or for example here, the mini push-pull, where in our well-known push-pull variant 4 housing, the same design and housing is used only in a smaller design, also for the IX industrial. But also, if you have, for example, interlogistic elements where decentralized devices are manufactured with standard interfaces for IP65, 67 in the industrial areas, so they're mainly M12 or M8 interfaces are used. Therefore, also the possible cable assemblies are available in the design of the M12 decoding, excoding, and the same at in the smaller sizes for M8 decoding, which gives you the same performance in the bigger M12. And also here are the newer technologies possible with the M8 T1 for single pair Ethernet transmission. So here you see again the overall picture for the 3 different applications, and Vitali will now show you something about the IX and the mini push-pull.
Well, thanks, Jonas, for that nice overview. Once again, so we have here a hot topic. It's the IX industrial overmolded for 2 different kind of applications. So it's definitely following the trend of miniaturization on the one hand, and also with the high data rates. And to ease the assembly time, we are having here our overmolded IX industrial. It's for IP20 MED, so in protected area environment. It's the type A for data transmission, of course. We have here, next to a press locking mechanism, also the push-pull mechanism. We see the nice design of the overmolded cable outlet, which is beneficial for higher robustness or even big batch sizes, with a nice strain relief here as well. At the end of the day, we are reducing the installation effort. You are just unplugging your polybag or your package and plug it in, and you can play the game. So it's 360-degree, fully shielded, very robust, vibration-proof, 5,000 mating cycles. And next to the standard Ethernet, let's say, we are also providing it with the Profinet, as mentioned before, version. So both are available out of the shelf. And of course, that's not the end. We are always looking into the demands or trends, let's say, and we are trying to adapt it to the customer's preferences, like higher robustness, for example, and providing solutions for the IP65 or IP67 environment. For that reason, we have here the same mating phase, the IX type A, same data transmission, but covered it now in a more robust housing. So it's the mini push-pull. It's suitable, as I said, for a harsh environment, and also a nice overmold design. We have a possibility with some indicating markings or an unlocking ring. So to sum it up, it's a one final solution. It's reducing your total cost of ownership at the end of the day due to the fact of its pre-assembled, plug-and-play, and 100% tested solution. With that saying, I would like to give over back to Jonas for some more insights in a different kind of application.
So, okay, thanks, Vitali. Now we are coming to our last application. So the previous 2 were mainly based on copper Ethernet transmission. But there are also use cases in the industry where copper is not sufficient, and we need to also think about different solutions. So, for example, if we are looking for windmills, we often have the problem that the ground and the gondola are higher than 100 meters, and then we got some trouble with copper-based Ethernet transmission. Therefore, we also have the possibilities to switch to fiber optics. Here also, it's a harsher environment if we need an IP65, 67 protected fiber optic Ethernet transmission. Here, for example, we can use special created cable assemblies with our HARTING Echo, or also with the well-known push-pull variant 4 with fiber elements. This is a very robust connector and is also suitable for such kind of applications, and especially the environments. It's not an outdoor condition, but you have also inside of the windmill outdoor conditions, for example, temperature changes and so on. And with this kind of solution, you can connect or bring Ethernet from the ground also to the gondola. If we are then inside of the gondola, the distances are not so high. We have here the IP20, ST, LC, and SC fiber optic cable assemblies for the IP20 connections. But you also can choose here, due to the smaller distances, again, copper-based Ethernet, and here also the standard mating phases, which are well known in the industry, like the M12 decoding and RG45 in different variants, and also the switch from the IP20 switch cabinet to the IP65, 67 area inside of the gondola are possible with so-called mixed cord, so a cable assembly from an RG45 to a panel feed to have an interface from your switch cabinet into the field are possible. So here, more or less, we can use again, or we have the possibility to use both fiber optic-based Ethernet or copper-based Ethernet. But I also wanted to show you one special thing. If we are looking into the hub, where the blades are fixated here, we also need to bring the Ethernet into the part which is rotating. So because also in the blades are a lot of sensors and so on, which need to be communicate with the rest of the windmill. So how we bring Ethernet into a rotated element. So here we have the so-called HARTING rotary joint. It's a contactless and maintenance-free product which brings or connects the Ethernet transmission between a fixed part and the rotation of the hub with the blades very easily. And as you can imagine, a windmill have 1 million of different rotation. And therefore, it was really needed that we have a contactless Ethernet transmission, which is also based on fiber optics. So, this was more or less all of our 3 different applications we are shown here. But there's a little bit more to say. In general, as you saw in the windmill application, we also make a lot of customized cable assemblies for you and our customers, and here we have, we can make everything tailored to your demands. And please contact us if you have any request for tailored cable assemblies. Then we can check and help you. So, thank you for your attention. Also, thank you, Vitali, and I will again hand over to Kilian. And I promised I am also on time.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And you can just stay because we just got a question in the chat. If you have any experiences about the share about IP20 and IP67 connections in industrial Ethernet, so I would always ask the HMS.
Yeah, so the share is, I can't tell you a number. It's more or less, it depends on the application. So the IP20 IP20 share is much more bigger due to the switch cabinets, and yeah, if you have IP20 components, it's much more cheaper. But due to the trends like decentralization and so on, more and more interfaces have IP65, 67 interfaces, and the share increases and increases more and more. I guess we saw it a few minutes ago also in the backup application where the PC was an IP65, 67 PC and not an HMI as shown before, which is in a protected housing.